Hello, welcome to Resident Evil 4 Remake. All right, so I am definitely way, way more motivated for this game than I probably was for Resident Evil 3 Remake, and that is sad to say. Like, I really did enjoy the fact that they are doing these Resident Evil remakes for the new RE engine that they're trying to run. And once again, a credit to Resident Evil 7 for basically just saving the goddamn franchise, because I think without that game and without Village, man, I don't know if we would ever have seen the light of day for Resi 2, or not Resi 2, but for the remake projects anyway. So huge shout out. Still, I'll say it to this day, I think 7 saved the franchise. And then it just eventually, they saw 2 was such a major success. And then they go to 3, and then 3 was kind of like, what the hell happened here? Like, you guys were doing good, and now it's like, this one sucks a little bit. And then they ultimately just built up enough for us to enjoy Resident Evil 4 in full HD fucking glory. All right. Okay, so my playthrough of Resident Evil 4 is gonna be one that has the bonus, like, I don't know what they call, like, the extra map, or not the extra map, but like the extra jewelry content or whatever it was, because that's the way that I bought it. I bought like the gold edition or whatever, so it's already innate attached to the game as it was. And when we take a look at here, okay, I don't really kind of want to show too much of this, but I guess I'll show challenges. So in challenges, as you can see, I put everything I had into this game, and this was the only Resident Evil of the new projects that I actually went ahead and did a full platinum run through of the game. So I think it's clear to say that I am obviously in love with 4. I love 2 a lot, but 4 was just, I mean, it's a franchise favorite. It's a fan favorite. I don't think I've ever met anyone in the entire world who does not like 4. So, this game was just really, this was the S tier of legitimate remakes. And I mean, the original game was already freaking goated as it was. And then this one is even, like, I don't want to say better, but man, it's really hard to not say better at this point. This game had it all. So I really am loving exactly what they're trying to do with these things. And this one, ultimately, I think this is the best remake they've made so far. And Resident Evil 2 Remake was probably the second best. So, kudos on that to Capcom and the team for putting together this thing. So, like I said, 150 challenges, all completed. Okay, there's not a thing I haven't done in this game. I went ahead and did all the S+ runs you can think of. So, complete the main story on professional mode with an S+ rank earns you the cat ears. Basically, the cat ears give you infinite ammo on any gun that you're choosing. So, and ask anybody how hard it is to do that. Like, because you have to run the game from a new game. And you can't do a new game plus or use any specialty weapons or anything like that. So you actually have to, like, play the game on new game mode on the hardest difficulty that is possible. And it is a fucking nightmare. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Even harder than the original game, to be honest. So, because the only thing that you can end up with is an S if you play it, like, in new game plus mode, basically. But you can only earn S+ ranks when you're starting from a new game, like a legitimate new game. So it's hard. Trust me, it's hard. But it was so worth the challenge. I really enjoyed it. So let's see here. And then we got all the basics. We got all the weapons and the combat, the feats, separate ways, which is the DLC for this game. I went ahead and even 100% at that shit. So, I mean, I am really in love with how they did this. I can't stop gushing over it enough, because Resident Evil 4 was definitely a great game. made even better. So I don't want to show too much of this stuff because, yeah, might be spoilers for new players coming in. And if anybody's checking this out for the first time and's like, I want to play this game, this looks interesting, well, it is. So, some controller settings. Alright, I already kind of played with all this stuff. If you're playing on the PS5, I would probably turn off the adaptive trigger because it doesn't feel that great. Honestly, it feels like you're kind of struggling to shoot the bigger guns, and in a game that kind of predicates itself on having good, fast reactions, you don't really want to be sitting there with like having to put like 2 pounds of pressure on your triggers just to shoot the gun. You know, like I understand what they were trying to go for with the adaptive trigger thing, but it don't really feel right at all. So I'm not gonna do that. Motion blur, I'm turning that shit off because I don't like motion blur. Motion camera. So I'm gonna prioritize the frame rate because whatever happened with 3 is just bad. Like 3 really just is a no-go. I don't think we need the ray tracing. So the best thing about this is that you can turn on this little dot in the middle of the screen, so if you get motion sickness, you can just kind of stare at the dot, especially like during the high running sections, because this game is really fast. Like, not fast in terms of like beating it, which even then it is pretty fast at beating it, if you like sprint through the game, but mostly like the speed of which Leon runs at is very, very fast. So, yep, damage display when we're in basically danger stage. You can turn that shit off, or you can kind of have like a little warning or like a super warning that you're about to die. I kind of leave it at that. I like to kind of know that I'm in death mode if I ever get to it, which I probably will because this game's hard. And then I like green. Okay, green is my favorite color personally, but beside the fact I do like the green aiming rather than just like the plain white, because I think it looks plain and boring. Red's okay, but red to me is a color of like, you know, I don't know how to explain it really. It's a decent color to use, but like just for everything, it's not the greatest. I think I perform better with green. I don't know why. Our eyes pick up better shades of green and all that whatnot. So red dot wise, red dot's like fine because that's natural, but I like green. So I run a green dot on like my actual personal rifle as well. So yeah, I think I'm just used to it. Hair strands, I don't really think I understand this stuff, but it doesn't matter. So I have pretty much Christmas colors going on there with the display box. And I think I might change it for the playthrough, just so it doesn't look like we're still in the Christmas time frame. And then I guess I'll go with a white-green text. Okay. Alright, so what I do have to do, though, is that I have to change the costumes, because, yeah. So, this might be a little spoilery, but we are going to go with some default. Oh. Now that I think more about this, this is like a Devil May Cry thing. We're going to go with this default. Like, some of these have perks. Like, if you look at the bottom left, they have perks, right? Aim assist can be used regardless of the game mode difficulty. So if I put that on, I have aim assist the entire game. You have to earn all this stuff, though, through general exploration of the game and also completing the various challenges that the game gives you. Like, wearing a chicken hat greatly decreases the amount of damage you receive, increases the power of melee attacks with a wolf tail, greatly increases the power of the knife attacks with the deer horns, and then the cat ears, they give us all weapons can be reloaded indefinitely without using ammo in your possession. So you get infinite ammo with the cat ears. And then obviously I'm going to pick none. With Ashley, you can like the jacketless, the jacket, the casual, and the romantic are all part of like the DLC set that you could have downloaded earlier, and you can kind of just have her look a little bit different. I've never used any of this stuff, so I don't really care about it. Armor, though, this is earned through gaining an S rank or something like that, an A rank on hardcore, I believe, or something like that. And this makes Ashley pretty much invulnerable to everything. Like, she can't be damaged, she can't be killed or anything like that. So, until like a very specific section of the game, then yes, she is in danger territory. But other than that, enemies can't pick her up or anything like that. So, we are not playing that way. We need to have her as default, as if you're starting this game fresh. I didn't really mind putting this stuff on her. Like, I did play with the accessories every now and again on my first playthrough of the game, and you know, I changed her hair to blue, and oops, I hate when I do shit like that. Anyway, we'll just keep her normal self there. Filters, you can filter the game. These also come with that little thing, so you can have hero or villain, and then you can just have it be normal. I've never played with the filters. I think this one looks kind of stupid, so I think villain looks pretty cool, though, if you're trying to go for a crazier thing. The original music you can actually turn off or on, so if you want the original music from Resident Evil 4 2005, you can have that the entire game, which I think is a very nice touch. I really like when remakes do that kind of thing. Ada, you have to earn this stuff, so Ada from her Resident Evil 2 remake style, and then obviously the more iconic dresses that she wears. And then yeah, and Ada also got the cat set because I went ahead and got S plus rank on her professional mode, which was pretty fun, to say the least. And you can change her up. You know, you earn this stuff throughout the game, so yeah. And then Luis, we'll just keep him at his default as well. This is mercenary mode stuff, so don't worry about this. But we're gonna keep Wesker on his default. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of, like, if you played the original, you already are starting to see some major differences here. Okay. And then let's just show the results. Okay. So, result-wise, I've played all the modes. I have 117 hours logged into this game. So, obviously, I gave it a lot of time, right? Then you can see from my very first playthrough of the game was on standard, and I hit an A rank with 11 hours and 49 minutes of time completion. So this is when I was like really giving the game like a deep dive, looking at things and just not trying to like run through it, because I was really just appreciating what they did. And then the deaths is all the death counts right there are very incorrect. It's just because I ran through the game again and had fixed those results, because I think on my first run I had like over 20 something deaths, so it was a learning curve, that's for sure. But when you practice and you play it enough, you start getting better and better each time. And then let's see, enemies killed. Oh, there we go. Okay, so they do keep death by chapter. I forget that's how they do it. But what they do is that when you replay the game in whatever mode, they save over your next best stuff that you do. Okay? So this game likes to tattle on you a lot. So if you press square or X, or if you're on Xbox, it will tell you how to gain the ranks that you need. which I think is great because sometimes it's left in obscurity on how you even get the ranks you get in Resident Evil games. And most of the time it's because, like, well, the older games, it was based off of how many first aid sprays you used, how many times you died, you know, how long it took you to beat the game, and they tally like this invisible score out of nowhere, and then you just kind of get that rank for the game. And then in this one, they're actually telling you how to do it. So what they mean by playthrough 1 is that it has to be the very first playthrough, like it has to be a new game in order to achieve any S plus rank in it. And in assisted mode, you have to beat the game in 4 hours or under 4 hours. Standard, you have to beat it under 5 hours. Hardcore, under 5.5 hours. And then on professional, under 5.5 hours. But the caveat is that you only get 15 saves in the game. So, yeah, you're pretty much having to think about how to save your game throughout, because wherever you die at in professional, you will literally load back to the original save, and that's difficult. So pretty much it doesn't matter the deaths don't count. What really fucks you on the deaths is the time that's spent reloading your game, right? So just say that you're in chapter 6 and you're about an hour and 30 minutes in, and you just ran through the section that puts you up to an hour and 50. Well, if you die, you have to restart that whole 20-minute section, but at an hour and 50. So that's basically where the penalty comes in. So you have to do a perfect playthrough in order to meet that under 5.5 hour deal, because it's pretty tight. Like, I think, let's see here, I got my completion time for this was 4 hours and 42 minutes and 24 seconds. So, and that was with no mistakes. I don't think I had a single mistake. Well, let me see. So I had 0 mistakes during that whole run. So I got damaged a few times, but that's okay. I didn't really care about the damage as much as I did dying. So I didn't want to do all that, you know what I mean? It's difficult though if you're really trying to get into it. And then when we look, obviously, right, I just got up for another playthrough back in 2023, and you know, this was playthrough number 7. So I mean, I'm telling you, I really, really love this game a lot. And I ran up a save last night just so I could get the controls back in my head, because I know they were a little bit different gameplay wise. So I kind of gave me a little test run to get back into this. But yeah. Alright, so that's enough for setup. And we're going to go ahead and do a new game. I don't care what this says. Like, I know it's just meant to kind of bait us to play the hardcore mode, because it's like for players who played Resident Evil 4. And then for players who've not played Resident Evil 4 2005. It's like, okay. You know, like, we don't really need to be fucking gaslit to play a hardcore mode. I mean, they're all fun, it doesn't matter, but you know, standard or assisted, it doesn't make you a weaker gamer or anything like that. Just play however you want. It's a single player action game, so you know, don't feel like the need to, like, oh, okay, well, I played 2005. I mean, it's a good challenge. I played hardcore when the game initially dropped, so, and I didn't like it. Like, I thought it was kind of like, whoa, hold on a minute, this is way too different. So then I just backed out of it and I went to standard so I can learn the game. And then, as you saw, over time you get better with, you know, continuous runs, and then hardcore and professional became a thing, and eventually all the way up to the point where I just completed the entire thing and got the platinum. So yeah, don't feel bad. Okay, so it's called the expanded treasure map has been applied. You can now see locations of hidden treasures on your map. So basically what that means is that I get, if you get just the base standard version of Resident Evil 4 Remake and you don't buy the extended treasure map, then all that's going to happen is that I'm going to end up with more treasures than you earlier. And that's pretty much it. So, and they're really nice treasures. I mean, they're jewels and stuff like that. So you really do want this kind of thing, but not gonna say that everyone should be forced to buy DLC content or something like that just for the sake of having extra shit. Because you can beat the game without it, like 100%.
September 30th, 1998. It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day. And that night, Raccoon City was wiped out, thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella. Somehow I made it out, but too many others weren't so lucky. I was asked later to join a top-secret government program. Not that I had a choice. The training, punishing missions, nearly killed me. But at least I kept my mind off everything. If I could just forget what happened that night. The pain, even for a second. This time, it can be different. It has to.
So tell me, Yankee, why did you come to this horrible place? As close to nowhere that I've ever seen.
Let's just say, looking for someone.
That someone must be very important, huh? The chief gave the orders himself. Help him, he said.
I'm sure your boys didn't come all the way out here to roast marshmallows. Maybe you did.
You have a strange sense of humor. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Just between us. A lot of people have gone missing around here. And it's been that way for a while now.
Well then, should be just another day in the office, right?
I mean, last week there was a search for some missing hikers.
I'm sure you'll do your best to help me.
I think this is it. Nature calls, huh? I'll be right back. Qué frío.
¿Te has bebido el bar entero? You smoke?
Vaya sitio más tétrico. ¡Hey! ¿Hay alguien ahí?
He sure is taking his time. Did he fall in? Maybe you better go and take a look. I'll watch the car. Wouldn't want to get a parking ticket.
So much for helping me.
All right, so this is a huge change up from the original. Like, way different, I'll tell you that much. So, controls are a lot different here. It's not circle, because circle is now a crouch. To do the 180-degree turn, you actually have to like hold back and then press R1. I don't really enjoy that at all. I thought that was a pretty bad design choice, to be honest, because it kind of feels like I'm swooping left, and sometimes I like lose control of what I'm doing, especially in the heavy action. So, but if you like maintain like straight up backwards and just kind of tap it, you'll get used to it over time. But yeah, I'm not really impressed with that at all. I know you could probably change it, but I already played this one way, so I learned it pretty easily. And then what makes this really different is how that sequence plays out with the two cops. So in the original game, the cop that goes out, he goes for a piss like in the first game as well, but he doesn't just wander off and gets lost or anything like that. So that's completely different. And where you end up to start the game is like near a little bridge. You cross the bridge, and then you're met with a bunch of crows and shit like that. And then you have like this little house. So they changed that up a lot because they're showing us like a more like dense forest, really strange atmosphere. We got boots everywhere, trash pile ups, abandoned buildings, destroyed buildings, stuff like that. And then all these little marking signs to start the game out. And then, of course, we look at Leon here, and he's got his iconic, fur jacket on and stuff like that. He's been upgraded. He's a special agent now. He's no longer just a rookie cop. A lot of years have passed since that day, like he said. And, we went from, I think Resident Evil 3 was made in 1999, and then they didn't pull Resident Evil 4 off until 2005. So that's when the entire genre changed, forever. Or I should say the franchise changed after that, because they introduced the third-person over-the-shoulder camera, and Leon had like a laser point system where that's how you stood in one spot. You couldn't move around at all. You had to stand in one spot and then aim your gun and then just shoot as the enemies walk towards you. So that's how they used to do that in the original game. This one is a lot more freedom of movement. I can't pull my gun out just now yet, but we'll see how that works out. So yeah, a lot of differences here with the remake, for sure. It's not a one-for-one, I'll tell you that. And then just the way that he takes off, too, like, he is very quick. And they're just kind of giving us a moment to kind of play around here.
Gone.
And where, like, 3 stopped doing the grotesque stuff, because, like, 2 was really, really nasty and gross with, like, the bodily dismemberments and, the zombie with the jaw cut off and all that kind of crap. Like, that was pretty insane shit. 3 took it, like, a little too safe, I guess, and they didn't really, like, want to upset people or whatever. So there wasn't really a whole lot of, like, disfigurement or, body gore or nothing like that, other than, like, maybe Nemesis here and there. But, yeah, this one, though, they definitely kept it as gross as it used to be in the old version. Just a little tutorial. The crouch is new. The crouch actually plays a huge part in the game as well. You weren't able to crouch in the original game. You can kind of check side and corners. And this is an entirely new spin out too. This is not how this
Anyone
worked
home?
out. So you can examine items just like we've been doing. A crude charm, judgment is nigh. Okay. Sericera el juicio. Judgment is nigh. Very strange shit, right? Then as you pick stuff up, you get that as a file. We can't read it just yet because we can't access our inventory. But you do want to add those things because I think you have to gain all the files in a playthrough in order to get a trophy for it. There's a lot of good details around here, you know, like they got actual writing on the door. They got writing on the walls, you know, you got the little symbols here. Like it's got a lot of fun stuff this time. Like it's more decorated, let's just say that, than the original house was.
Sorry to barge in like this. Busco a un policía. ¿Vino aquí? This is not good.
Yeah, filthy, right? Absolutely disgusting. Love it. All right, and then the most iconic inventory system in the entire world of Resident Evil, the little suitcase that he carries. So this thing is really legit. You can just kind of sort it through however the way you want it. You put things on the outside here, then they disappear forever. This is how you discard your inventory. So you want to keep everything within the box. And then the box is upgradable. The newest addition to the game is the crafting system. This stuff right here is legit. And they even went one step above, and they allowed us to start crafting herbs in this game. Okay? Which, I guess I shouldn't say a step above, because this is, you could do this anyway. So yeah, that was dumb. That was a dumb comment. But it just looks nice, right? It looks a lot neater. You got vials of it this time instead of just like combining it on like a little piece of paper. So yeah, you get the same combinations, right? You get your green, 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 red, green, yellow, red, yellow, green, 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 and a yellow, and green, red, yellow. So yellow is the newest color of the franchise, and yellow basically gives us an extended health bar, and it is increased permanently throughout the game. So it is worth your time to find all the yellows so you can have a full health bar by the end of the game, which is very new for the franchise, like I said. So in this one, we still got the gunpowder, and then you got a new little material there. So, you know, it looks like a bag of something. And that's it for now that you can craft if you find the items. But then you can see at the bottom, there's a whole list of little shits that you can build. Yep, so here's the file. Judgment is nigh. Mission brief. So again, once again, I'm going to read all the stuff that we find, because that's what we do. This is like missable stuff too if you just don't take time in the inventory. And I see a lot of people don't like to read this stuff. which is fine. Overview. Retrieve the kidnapped individual. Subject, Ashley Graham, age 20. Daughter of U.S. President, university student, see photo for physical appearance. Background. Contact was suddenly lost with the subject as she made her way home from campus. Soon after, she, along with her ex-military bodyguards, were reported missing. Upon further investigation, it was determined that she was kidnapped by an organized group and a team was convened. Our intelligence department has confirmed several sightings of the subject in a remote village located in the mountainous region of Europe. One agent was specifically chosen for the task. Additional info. We have confirmed that the perpetrators received help from an insider to prevent leaks. This operation will be kept strictly confidential. Local law enforcement has been brought on board and are providing assistance. Okay. Okay, so what these are, this is a item that you can buy. So from like with your actual money, and if you go into like the Resident Evil like little profile picture thing and you scroll all the way down on PlayStation, and you can purchase these things. They're basically like DLC items as well, or whatever. I mean, they're pay to win type of things, and I actually bought these so that the later on playthroughs would be a lot more fun, you know. And they were having a sale on these things. They're just basically cheat cards. Like you give this to somebody and they upgrade your shit, and that's all it does. So they're also worth a lot of money too if you sell them. So these things right here, these will always stay at 17. I'm not going to use these for this playthrough. But like when you're just having fun with the game and you're completely done with it, then I mean go ahead and get these. These just make the game a little bit more fun, I guess, like when you're playing it on a new playthrough. So yeah. And they're permanent too. They'll stay with you for every new game run that you do. The Hunter's Lodge key. Okay. It's got a neat little symbol up there, right? We're going to see that a lot through the game. And then our map. And then when it says extended map with a little diamond and a plus sign, that means that I have the diamond map DLC content. Okay. So Leon, over the shoulder camera. Okay. You get your aim, your left, your right. The only thing you can't do is an about face, like 180-degree movement while you're in aim mode, which I think sucks because you have to do it like this basically. So yeah, like with Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, you actually could like 180-degree turn Jill and Claire and Leon, but this one, you can't. So I don't know why. Just bad design choice, to be honest, but it is what it is.
Man, that stinks.
Grotesque. Just eating wild, weird shit out here, right? Looks like a little, oh, like a little possum or something. Squirrel, beaver. Officer's badge, National Police Corps. Mario Fernandez Castano, police officer. So yeah, you want to pick that up so you get the file obtained. And I actually don't know what happens if you go down this hallway, so I actually want to try this out real quick. Because initially you saw the door, so the game's telling you go to the door. Doesn't look like nothing happens. Yeah, so you're locked in. Now, with this game, there is not a red-blue system, so you won't even know unless you walk up to an item or you kind of just discover it by being, you know, a thorough searcher or anything like that, that an item is going to be missing or not. Because this map will always remain brown like this, so you won't be able to tell when you gather all the items in the game. So just be aware of that. if you're used to playing the other games right now. And of course, our classic Resident Evil style of menuing to use items on doors and other gadgets. And we look down here, and this place looks crazy, right? So like I said, this is where the franchise really deviated from survival horror. I mean, there is a little bit of survival horror in this game, but this is where it became more action-oriented than anything else. This is where it started really becoming different for the entire franchise as a whole. Because it was no longer like, you know, Leon is much more capable now, and he, like, has melee attacks and shit, so... Yeah, they did this completely different in 2005.
Hey. I read you. What's your situation? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, this is completely different. So you didn't find a police officer dead in the building ever. But you could tell he got cut, so he got his throat chopped. It's really interesting if we're able to decipher this stuff and translate it. Got a lot of really cool details in here. And then this is where the game is meant to fucking scare the shit out of you at this point.
No fucking way.
This just keeps getting worse.
But we can tell he's not normal. So this is where the game is really different. And you actually want to crouch to maintain like a silence mode, basically. You don't really want to hang out with these dudes too long. Otherwise they'll find you and you only have 5 bullets, so yeah.
Bruce. This is Condor 1.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
The president's daughter, Baby Eagle. It's likely she's in this village.
Our intel was correct then. Well done.
Need a location on a nearby lake. She may have been taken there.
Copy that. I'll see what I can find.
Hurry up.
Something's happened to the people here. My escorts are... Gotta go. Talk later. I'll let myself out.
Kind of hurt himself there rolling out the window, didn't he? Yeah. Then looking at the UI down here, you can see the combat knife has a health bar, which we'll get into that. And then we have our green little bar, which is our health. And you can fill that meter all the way to the very tip. And that's basically where it needs to get to have full HP. Okay. Looking at his gun here. This is his choice of weapon, the SG-09R. Custom handgun made for Leon while keeping the basic design of the MUP. its parts were carefully chosen and machined to improve performance. So the MUP being his, I think his Matilda. So like a lot more different of a weapon now. Yeah, your basic standard handgun though. Then we got a knife weapon suited for close encounters. It has been Leon's go-to since receiving it during the time of his RPD. So yes, the iconic knife. But now it has a backstory since it was given by us from Marvin. So a nice little callback to that. And that opening sequence too, that was very different from the original as well. Like Leon, he had like a little like a section where he read about like or kind of telling us like, you know, Umbrella back in 1998, and he gave us the whole rundown, but it didn't have like Kendo or Marvin involved from the remakes that they just did. So they are really intertwining everything in their remake projects, and I really love that. And the attention to detail on like Leon's weaponry is really good. Like the finger off the trigger well like is so nice, you know, and like for gun dudes and all that, like it's just a safety thing, you know. So whoever they worked with as far as like how does a secret agent operate, like this is pretty dope, you know. Like he's not gonna flag people, he puts his gun away when he's not in a situation where he needs it out. He holsters it, you know, he draws it out, but then he keeps his trigger finger like off the trigger well because, you know, he's not shooting at anything just yet. So very nice details. This is a nice little thing here. You can shoot the birds. Shooting crows has always been a thing, or you can throw a flashbang and fuck them up. This is gunpowder. And another feature in the remake is that with the item box, you can actually auto sort if you just click down on the left stick. I don't like doing that because I am not from that age. We had to do everything manual with the old game because they didn't have auto sort back then. So I like to keep my healing resources together and all my weaponry together and my ammo and all that stuff. So we'll see how I organize my box. These ones, you can now push X just to kick them, but again, I'm from the old style, so you had to like bring out your knife and then just pop it. And then a really nice addition down there, if you see the 10 out of 5 plus 1. So he actually does a ghost round inside of his weapon. And for those who are not acquainted with what a ghost round is, basically, you put a round inside the chamber, and then you put a full like magazine or clip inside of a weapon, and you basically get that plus 1 bullet. So you always have one loaded and locked it in there. So I think that's a really, really nice addition to, again, him being like a secret agent and just kind of breaking the system, you know? An attached case has been added to customized case menu. A charm has been added to customized case menu. A deluxe weapon has been added. So, the deluxe stuff. So all of this stuff you see right now is stuff that I earned over time, except for the Sentinel 9 and the Skull Shaker. So the Skull Shaker and the Sentinel 9 are 2 DLC items that you got with the game when it came out. Okay? And it's supposed to be, I think, a little bit more stronger than the pistol that you get initially to start out the game with. And a lot more ammo inside of it. So let's see here. We got the hand cannon and the Chicago sweeper. Those are weapons that you get for doing the challenges, and you have to use your points to unlock them. And everybody knows what at least the Chicago sweeper is. It's hosted in the very various videos of this game, because it's kind of like the last weapon you earn or whatever. Not the last weapon, but it's a weapon that you earn and you can make the game fun in the old version. The primal knife is an infinite knife. You earn that also with points. We're not going to use that because obviously that's more of like a cheat code, and we don't need to do that. customizing our cases. So this is pretty nice. We will actually get into what all this is. Like, your cases are basically, they have like a color code to them, and depending on what you choose, you get like a bonus. So like the gold, you get increased drop rate for pesetas. For the classic, you get increased drop rate for gunpowder. The regular attached case, you get increased drop for handgun ammo. Okay, so yes, you have like a little drop rate system in this game. Once you kill enemies and you know they're dead for sure, they will actually drop items most of the time. I think in the remake they drop them almost all the time, though, if I remember correctly. It wasn't like that in the old game. Like, every now and again they would drop stuff, but most of the time it would have been money, and sometimes they wouldn't drop stuff at all. So I think every enemy drops something in this game, for the most part. And these are also DLC type items, so you can like buy this pack or whatever, and you get all this. The charms, you basically attach these to your case. I think you only get to attach up to 3. And they give you bonuses as well. So handgun ammo, you get 30% handgun ammo, craft bonus frequency, and you get 15% health recovery for green herbs when you put these 2 things on. So these are my DLC items, and I mean, I bought this along with the game in this deluxe edition, so I don't see any problem with putting these on, like, because you bought them. I mean, why not? If you're using this, there's no point into not using it. So I will put that there, and I'm going to put that there. So yes, you only get to put 3 on at a time. So you see there's a lot of charms to gather too. You have 32 of them you have to earn. Okay. We'll keep it at handgun ammo because you need that. And then you can just save. Oops. No ink ribbons yet again, and actually this is where ink ribbons stopped becoming a thing with the Resident Evil 4, because it was just straight up typewriter, and that's how you did your stuff. Okay, then let's go take a look. So Sentinel-9, fully customized handgun for tackling bioterrorism. Its accuracy and versatility make it a reliable choice. So power is 110, power is 100, okay? We got 19 ammo, 0.90 reload, 1.95, precision's 4. So clearly, obviously, the Sentinel-9 is the weapon of choice for the first early parts of the game. And then the Skull Shaker, a shotgun with sawed-off stock and barrel. Its compact size allows for excellent maneuverability and handling. Okay. It's just an early game shotgun. It's only got 2 shots in it. So, and which is kind of funny because you get another shotgun pretty early in this game. But yeah, there's no item box or anything like that. Like, you just go straight to the typewriter and you go to your storage and that's it. So your storage on the left side, this is stuff that'll get maintained for the rest of the game. There are certain things you cannot put in the storage though. Okay? So when you click on something and just say like it's the green herb here, the green herb cannot be stored in the box like you were able to in the old Resident Evil game. So now you actually have to carry it or get rid of it or use it or combine it with another item to make it something different. So that's also plays into the new way that they handled the storage system. Same with gunpowder. You can't just store it and then come back for it later like you did in Resi 2 and Resi 3 Remake. You have to use it then or keep it on you or discard it. You can store first aid sprays and you can store weapons. Okay? And then what I'm actually going to do for this part is we want to play this a little smart. And you can see you get, on your directional pad, you get up to, 2, 4, 6, 8 weapons that you can put on your kit at any time. Okay? So since this gun already has stuff inside of it, we want to use these bullets now, because you can come back to the save typewriter or whatever, instead of using the bullets from that one gun right now. Because I know that I'm not going to use this one forever long term. because we're going to use the Sentinel 9. Then bird, missed the bird. You just want to go around checking everything you possibly can before you get in entanglements, because it'll just help you out. Pesetas is a currency in the game, so that is a currency system. And I wonder why we would even have a currency system, right? There's never been one in the Resident Evil franchise until now. Now, when they're in a desperate state like that, you do want to attack them. When they're staggered, hit them. This is new. That's brand new to the series right now. So when they start freaking out like that, you're going to be given a prompt to kind of hit them with another R2 to stab them for good. It does use your knife's health, though, so just be aware that that's a thing. And if you don't kill them while they're kind of freaking out and shaking like that, then you will actually get them back up, and they'll be a little bit more difficult to take down. So it's kind of a finisher move that you have to do, and it can save your life in a lot of different ways. So just to show the bear trap, the bear trap does not do damage like it used to do in the old game. So if you run into those, don't worry, they just slow you down. That's pretty much what you want to do. You really want to hit them in the head or something like that, right? Shoot them in the leg, anything that you can do to bring them down or in a staggered state, and then hit them with a melee attack, because that's exactly how you play Resident Evil 4 on the first game. Jesus, lost my train of thought there for a minute. And then, yeah. And then when we look at the map, we can see that there are already points of interest. These are just the extended treasures. So you kind of see them all throughout the game right now as we are. So they'll make themselves apparent where you need to go. So I think we spent a large section of this first part just kind of talking about the game, me gushing over Resident Evil 4 and all that kind of stuff. But in the next part, we definitely will make a little bit more progress than this. So I used the ammo that I wanted, so I'm going to store that. And then you can just instantly craft those. Okay. And I like my pistols over here. My grenades at the bottom is fine. I would suggest holding on to your flashbangs as much as you can. They are very important in this game. Not really used as a defensive item like they were in Resi 2 Remake, but they are very, very nice to have. Trust me. We'll know sooner or later. And then, yeah, so we'll just run with the Sentinel 9. No problem there. Our case has the attachments. We're using the silver case for more handgun drop rate. And then we got the Red Eagle and the Green Herb for more health recovery and more bullet crafting with a chance to get all that stuff. So that'll do it for part 1 of Resident Evil 4 Remake. And when we come back, we are going to get into the heart-pumping first section of the game. So thanks for watching, and I cannot wait to keep on doing this.